afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the next game of the MaD Dragon Rugby Championship 2025. Sky Stadium in Wellington today for the All Blacks going up against the Springboks once again. Noah Hotham comes in the scrum half shirt today with Finlay Christie moving to the bench, and Leroy Carter gets his start out on the left wing. Changes aplenty for the Boks today. That backline ever changing. Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu comes into the 10 shirt. Damien Valemsa and Kanan Moody make up that centre combo, with Ethan Hooker coming in on the left wing for them. Lots of changes, maybe looking ahead towards the next World Cup. Some of these youngsters will certainly be looking to make a big feature in this team. Taking a look at the results in the table as they stood at the end of round 3 then. The Springboks still out in first place on 9 points. The All Blacks on 7 in third place. We won't ruin the results that have already happened from the rematch between the Wallabies and the Pumas, already up on the channel. Let's get this one kicked off and underway then through the boots of Sasha Feinberg. Zulu looking to make his shot this time in that number 10 shirt. Andre Pollard not in this game, of course. Marnie Libok on the bench for this one, as Damien McKenzie new to that fullback position today, with Will Jordan shifting out to the right wing with no Rico Ioane. Lots of changes coming around for both of these teams, and both will want to get off to a strong start as Tyrone Lomax manages to get the ball away here to Geordie Barrett, who thinks he's seen room over the top of the head there of Cheslin Cole, but he does so well to get back and does call the mark. We're not going to be welcomed into seeing a scrum called from the mark like what we got to see back in the 2023 World Cup, but New Zealand will be happy just to try and move their way up into the South African half, as Samasoni Taukiaho to start with the lineouts today. Cody Taylor unfortunately ruled out of this one with injury, means Taukiaho gets his first start in at the hooker position as they play it out the back there to Barrett, who maybe not the crash ball specialist they would have been hoping for to pop out round the back. Tyrone Lomax got a bit more power to inject and does manage to take it to the line hard, and now they've got numbers potentially out here on this wing as Will Jordan. You can't afford to let him get away. It's good cover though, coming in by Afaleli Fassi. Slow to the breakdown now New Zealand as they go left towards Scott Barrett, wrestled to the ground by his opposite number. New Zealand still with possession though, just trying to mount some of these phases together as they go left towards Leroy Carter. What a start this would be for the man on the left wing as he manages to get across into the corner. What a start for this boy in the 11 shirt today. Billy Proctor taking that hard to the line. Ethan de Groot getting the call on the outside and just got the gas to get around the outside of Afaleli Fassi there. And Leroy Carter will be the man first on the scoreboard today. What a start for him in this All Blacks jersey. This is the start that New Zealand will have wanted to see. It was a tight game last week, of course, ending in a draw between these two sides in the MaD Dragon Rugby Championship. So getting scores on the doors early is going to be ever necessary to try and mount that pressure as Beauden Barrett steps up for kicking duties. Damien McKenzie also on the field, could also take over kicking at some point today. Got to keep your eyes out for how that will change up, but as long as Beauden Barrett can keep that kicking ratio high, maybe no need to change from here. As Sasha Feinberg will get us restarted. Just got to try and find that territory game. So far the game has been entirely played up in the Springboks half, and they'll want to change that as they go long down the middle here, as Damien McKenzie lifted up by his two fellow teammates there and held up in the maul. South Africa want to try and get involved with those forwards as much as possible. A lot of big ball carriers in on this team with the return of Damien Valemsa, with Jasper Wiese, sorry, coming in there. Damien Valemsa moving into the centre shirt as well. A lot of mixing up in the Springboks team this week. It's been nice to see as Will Jordan, maybe makes a bit of a break through the middle there and still looking to go himself. He hasn't got anyone with him. Takes the little stab. Grubber kick on. Oh my goodness. It's an unbelievable individual effort from Will Jordan. Outran his own men and the Springboks players. Nobody with him. Took the grubber kick around Afaleli Fassi there and picks it up flush on the bounce and dives it over. And this Springboks team, a lot of changes coming in. This can be one of the issues with so many changes to a backline. This team named so early on the Monday, but sometimes too many changes in a row can just break that cohesion up in the team. And there's a few too many gaps in the defensive line at the minute for the Springboks. Something will need to change, and Beauden Barrett won't be missing too many of them from directly in front of the post, and Will Jordan having to get on the scoreboard. So that's one per wing now for the men in black. And a change needed here. The Springboks really not been able to get a foothold in this game as of yet. The defensive line just feeling far too narrow. The Springboks obviously wanted to try and keep it within the forwards, and New Zealand just not allowing it. They'll go for a very similar restart to exactly what we had last time with Damien McKenzie, taking that one in. And this time they'll go out towards this left-hand side. That's a great shot coming in by Kane and Moody, just shutting them down. Nowhere to go there as Noah Hotham opts for the box kick just to try and find a way out of trouble. They're not able to find touch, and Will Jordan tries score a thrown to the side, and the Springboks finally have some possession now just inside the New Zealand half, as Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu don't want to let that man get away. Gets an offload to Peter Steph du Toit. Is chopped down at the legs by Bowden Barrett. Slow back to his feet, but back in the defensive line out to stop Valemsa. And now they're beginning to mount a few phases together. Few missed tackles already on the cards for New Zealand here. Got to keep that discipline in your tackle and pass back inside. Beautiful pass to Kobus Reinach. Always able to get on the outside shoulder and get over for those tries. Can't let these boys get away. It's another inside pass, but gets absolutely nailed by Ethan de Groot. Sat down. Somehow managing to hold onto the ball in such a massive collision, but does very, very well. And South Africa really mounting some phases here, but it looks like they may have been able to just get over that ball. And Noah Hotham asks for another box kick. It's not the greatest kick. Bit of a slice on that one. Will only get them back out towards the edge of the 22. And Malcolm Marks now to try and launch this platform, potentially looking for the maul here. One of the options that South Africa do love. They choose not to. They go back left through Kobus Reinach, trying to take it himself through the line. Maybe not the way to take that one on. As he'll sweep back round to this right-hand side as new boy Ethan Hooker low on caps and looking to try and make his impact now on this left wing. Such a competitive position in this Springbok team, trying to get into that back three, and Ethan Hooker got to make the most of his opportunity today as they head back towards this midfield, taken down though by Samsioni Taukiaho. They do have men out towards that right-hand side, or Cheslin Colby was screaming for the ball, and it's not been found, and Will Jordan, he's already got one, and it's going to be a big ask here for Afalele Fassi to get back. Does well, the fullback able to stop the winger. That is not what this Springboks team will want, but that's not the pass that New Zealand will want. Noah Hotham not quite having the settled game he would have wanted already into this game, as they go for a different style this time. Bit of a chip kick over the top. Oh, it's allowed to bounce by Afalele Fassi. Didn't quite get on the end of the ball, and New Zealand able to recover it and looking for a change of pace here as Wallace Satiti gets absolutely sat down by Peter Steph du Toit, and the Springboks really just haven't been able to find that foothold in the game so far, as they find themselves yet again pinned back. Slow ball for New Zealand eventually does come out, and Ethan de Groot runs into the man mountain. That is Oxenshea. Not letting him through there, and Damien McKenzie offers himself also up to that line. Oh, is Will Jordan getting through? Oh, it's another superb tackle by Afalele Fassi. Says not this time to the New Zealand right winger, and the pressure still mounting. Got to be careful. A nice little offload there to Tyrell Lomax. This is better defence by the Springboks, really not letting the men in black through. This time as Damien McKenzie thought he saw a gap, but namesake Damien Valemsa shutting him down. New Zealand still up to go towards this right-hand side. Oh, as Will Jordan's found a gap in the line once again, in between the two South African backs. And that's a brace for him today, and this game is getting away from South Africa. Just before the half-time whistle, Rassie will need to be taking a look at this South African team and acting accordingly. That bench may be becoming ever more present in this game as it goes on. A lot of talented players on the Springboks bench this week. Of course, Adu Sneeman, Quagga Smith to come on, trying to reinforce that forward pack. Andre Esterhazen, always a big carrier of the ball as well, potentially to come on at centre. We'll see how things change in the second half this time as Bowden Barrett steps up well. Damien McKenzie can do nothing but look on here as Bowden Barrett is slotting through these kicks for fun today. That is a 21-point lead as we'll go in at half-time. That is not the half the Springboks will have been wanting for the All Blacks. It's a much, much better game than what we got to see last week. Let's see what changes up in the second half. On to round 4 then of the MaD Dragon Rugby Championship. The All Blacks going up against the Springboks once again. A tight-knit affair last week. Really not a lot separating these two sides, but a lot of changes coming into the teams on both sides seems to have laid down the path for New Zealand to take an astonishing lead in this one. Leroy Carter getting us started out on the scoreboard. What a great debut for this man out on the left wing, getting over in the left-hand corner to start out the scoring in this game. Conversions coming in by Bowden Parrott. He's 3 for 3 today, 100% perfection. That's exactly what you'll want. Will Jordan getting over his brace of tries today. A great individual effort to start him out, breaking through the line, a grubber kick around the Springboks fullback and being able to receive the ball on the bounce and dotting it down before getting his second just before that half-time whistle in at the corner. The Springboks defence today looking to have a few more gaps. Those changes in the back line maybe just not quite gelling together. It felt better towards the end of that first half, but that gap right at the end for Will Jordan to get through has let them down a bit. The Springboks attack has looked fierce. They can certainly mount some pressure playing these inside passes. They've made some good meters into that New Zealand 22, but big work at the breakdown has just been able to save New Zealand today. Those benches ever important as Razzie will look on here trying to make some changes as we go into this second half with New Zealand in a very positive lead. The ref is ready to get this second half started then as Bowden Parrott just shepherding his team along and starts out with this second half getting off and underway straight down the middle. It's a good chase coming in there by Wallace Atiti, not able to get on the end of the ball, and the Springboks are able to regain possession early on as Cobus Reinach opting for that territory game. It's a long kick and nobody's on the end of that, and they'll see the pass out wide to Leroy Carter. Oh my goodness, oh, it's a good tackle going in. That might have just saved the Springboks there as they try and play themselves out of trouble. It will get dotted down, and it should look to be a dropout 22 from here, but the ref looking potentially to something signal out. So the subs are coming on now as there's some changes coming on in the front row. Mighty Williams and Fletcher Newell coming on just at the right time because the ref here has awarded this as a scrum. Now, I'm not sure if that was actually carried back over by South Africa. On first look, it looked to be that it had just bounced off the grubber kick and dotted down. It should have been potentially a goal line dropout, sorry, but not to be. As the scrum, though, collapsing down and ref comes in, it says it's a penalty. Oh, it's gone against the new boys just come onto the field. It's gone against Mighty Williams there for collapsing, and that is a big let-off for the Springboks. It is their bread and butter when they get round to those scrums, but that is a big let-off, and Oxenshea wants to have a word about maybe his side of the scrum with the referee as well. Maybe he thought he was more dominant as well. So South Africa, after being put under big pressure early on, will have their line-out opportunity now as they throw long out the back. It's well played out there to Ruan Nokia. And they have numbers to the left if they can see the gap, and they have managed to find it there as in goes Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu and gets the pass on the outside. Oh, and still going this time is Damien Willemse chopped down by coming in there as the new scrum half. That is Finlay Christie who's come onto the field now as Noah has gone off the field. Maybe not quite the start that Noah will have wanted, but certainly just kept the ship floating for the meantime as on comes Finlay Christie. And now the Springboks were getting to move some phases up as Nokia with a huge collision with Finlay Christie. Welcome to the game. And takes a big old tumble there, and New Zealand push back now already back to their own 22. And only a few minutes ago they were out there on the Springboks' own 5-metre line with an attacking scrum. This is how fast this game can swap around now as Ngomazulu tries to get it back on the outside there. That's a good pass. Oh, back inside. Was looking for Ethan Hooker. They're trying these inside passes a lot today. That's a good pass. Going from prop to prop and running all the way across now is Thomas Dutoy, who's made it up to the New Zealand 5-metre line. And Damien Willemse gets the wide pass out. It's a good offload. And across goes Ethan Hooker. It's a game for the wingers today. And Ethan Hooker, that is the answer that the Springboks will have wanted. You have to say they can't have done a lot more so far in this second half. Winning that scrum on their own 5-metre line. And then being able to just build those phases on the counter-attack all the way back up. And Ethan Hooker will go over. And Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu will look to take this, change this 5 into a 7. New Zealand can do nothing to look on. That's maybe one of the problems that comes in. Those changes coming in, the set piece looked pretty solid for New Zealand so far. Bringing on those subs maybe just at the wrong time. Cost them the scrum. And then, sort of similarly as we've said about the Springboks backline today, some of those changes to the New Zealand backline may have also gone on against them there. Finlay Christie certainly took an enormous collision with Peter Steph-Tutoy, and we do hope he's okay. Hasn't gone off for a HIA, so we'll assume he's okay for now. As Thomas Dutoy taking this one in to Mighty Williams, driving that maul back almost single-handedly there. That is great work by the replacement loosehead prop, as this time they begin to break away again. Oh, Damien Valemsa thinks he's been able to spot a gap and jumping around there. The Springboks coming alive in this second half now as Finlay Christie off the line quick into Oxen Shea. Oh, and through goes Avaleli Fassi. What a great burst of pace this man has. Somehow throws an unbelievable offload out the back to nobody and somehow finds Oxen Shea. And it's allowing, South Africa to build, and Peter Steph-Tutoy goes across. South Africa are answering back hard in this second half. What a great line coming in here. Look at that pop pass. You just saw Barrett running out of the line a bit too quickly. No way for Finlay Christie to stop Peter Steph-Tutoy from there. And South Africa not stopping, as on comes Marnie Libok onto the field. Interestingly, not come on in the 10 shirt. So we'll see where they're going to slot in to this one. They've got, of course, a lot of variety in that back line. We'll see what they can look to change up. But South Africa have come back to play. That kick, just swirling away and bouncing off the post. That might become vital as this game moves on. And now New Zealand will have to answer back with something of their own, because this game is slowly beginning to slip away from them. As Barrett looks for a different type of restart this time, into the arms of the try scorer. Then Peter Steph-Tutoy able to break through that first tackle again. Such a big carrier with the ball in hand as New Zealand compete for that one fiercely at the breakdown. They'll go back towards his left-hand side, Damien Valemsa, and getting wrestled to the ground slowly. And they'll still look to try and spread this one out left. Doing very well there as Malcolm Marks got maybe a bit isolated on that play around the back, but managing to hold on to the ball. And across goes Barrett now, having to shut down as Oxen Shea slowly finds himself on that wing. It's something we've seen across this Rugby Championship, is some of the props being able to get out of there. But Beauden Barrett slips through on the interception, unable to dot it down. What on earth happened there? Just maybe too many moving parts in the set play. And it's just picked off by Barrett. We saw him go for it just before the Peter Steph-Tutoy try. Obviously alert to what's going on. It didn't pay off from the first time, but the second time it's answered back very, very hard as more subs get brought on for New Zealand. On comes Ruben Love, and it looks like Leroy Carter's going off, so it'll be interesting to see what changes in the backline as well for this New Zealand side. As Beauden Barrett steps up and slots that one through, taking them out to 28 points to 12. It's a high-scoring game today, and it's great to see. It looks like Damien McKenzie shifted towards that left-hand wing where Leroy Carter was, and Ruben Love has moved now into that fullback position. Quinta Paya is also on and has come in at the centre position for New Zealand. So they obviously feel the backs is where this game is being changed up a bit, as they still look to go left this time to Scott Barrett, and going on, and through goes Wallace Atiti, runs in there. It's a huge shot coming in on Marnie Libok, and it was Avaleli Fassi who came off for Marnie Libok, so he's had to move into that fullback position and go through Barrett once again. One try for him today, but RG Sneeman, new to the field, says you're not going to outpace me, and gets an enormous collision with the New Zealand fly half, and through goes the captain Scott Barrett, looking to try and seal out this game one way or another as they go left this time into Duplessis Kurifi, now in for the All Blacks, moving in to the flanker position, trying to just smash his way through. Is Geordie Barrett this time, no way through this green wall, and managing to get the kick away there. As Cobus Ryanak, I think, found himself with the ball with no real options. Opted for the kick, and it hasn't worked for them. They'll get it out to Damien McKenzie, who looks to be isolated. Nokia is straight over that ball. Somehow, they haven't managed to come away with it, and Barrett opts for the kick over the top, and Quintapai is chasing this one down, but won't quite have the pace to get on the end of it, but it's good territorial play. 76 minutes gone on the clock. You feel like the scoreboard might be working against South Africa at this point. And South Africa will opt for this frontman jumper as in goes Snyman. Oh, he's a giant to get his hands on the ball. Not able to take it though, and they'll go left. Oh, and over the line. Now the ref might want to have a look at this. It looked to me like Beauden Barrett, who made that tackle, was quite far offside from the back of that maul. Maybe took the burst too early, and the ref hasn't seen it. There's a couple of interesting calls today coming in by the referee team. We had that scrum, of course, right at the start of the second half, which maybe should have been a goal line dropout. And this one again, I feel like there might have been an offside coming in by New Zealand, as they'll go for the drive again. Oh, and it's gone down again. And they're coming over now to have a word with this New Zealand pack once again. And it's gone down on the side of Tamaiti Williams once again. Thomas du Toit is just dominating that side of the scrum. And likewise at the start of this first half. The scrum penalty going the way of South Africa. It has been their main strength today. For South Africa has been that scrummaging department. Something for New Zealand to look on now as they move on towards the Bledisloe Cup games versus Australia in coming weeks. And Malcolm Marks will go for the long line out here. And South Africa going to have an awful job to try and get the length of the field here as Oxenshea has to step in at scrum half. It's a nice kick over the top, just allowing it to bounce. Do New Zealand there. You could see as Ruben Love allowed to watch the ball bounce. Just got to try and play that territory game. Hopefully your line-out's as solid as the scrum has been for South Africa as Tauki Aho steps up for this next line-out. As RG Snyman, picks it off at the front. That's why you put the big man right at the front of the line-out. That's a good steal, and the set piece today has been very, very good for them as a unbelievable pass out the back and a very, very big call there by Norkia. Maybe a slightly defeatist attitude there to just boot the ball off the field. The buzzer had gone. They knew there was maybe nothing left to gain from this game. Not able to get within the losing bonus point range. Certainly not going to be able to win the game. Maybe just thought injury concerns looking ahead towards those Argentina games might have been the reason he wanted to get that one off the park. But the final score in this one then, 28 points to 12. Much higher scoring than what we got to see last week. What do we think, guys? Is this something we could be seeing on the weekend, a New Zealand win at home? Or do you think the Springboks will cause an upset over in New Zealand? Let me know down in the comment sections, guys. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.